I'd love to call the February 22nd Ad Hoc Fine Arts Committee to order. Roll call, please, Michelle. Oh, no, wait, first we have to do.
No, we do roll call.
Roll call, then the motion to allow. Okay, roll call, please, Michelle.
Okay, Chairwoman,
Here.
Member Chavez. Here. Member Garcia. Member Hart.
Here.
Member Rutledge. No. Member Selman.
Here.
Okay, great. I'm calling for a motion to allow a very special guest in order for us to meet quorum. You might recognize him. Chairman Dan Cronin. Woo!
Happy to be
So moved.
here. I can.
Yay.
Second.
Woo-hoo. We'll take a vote.
You can roll call.
Roll call,
Sorry,
please.
You can voice vote, you can all in favor if you want.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Of course not. Okay, wonderful. First, do I have to read this?
Yes, for member Hart.
Okay, right. Thank you very much.
And you also accept him now.
And so there has been a request to allow remote participation from Member Hart under Section 7A of the Open Meetings Act. Pursuant to Section 7A of the Open Meetings Act, if a quorum of the members of the public body is physically present, as required by Section 2.101, a majority of the public body may allow a member of that body to attend the meeting by other means if the member is prevented from physically attending because of.
Employment purposes.
Here we go. Is there a motion to allow Member Hart to participate?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Is there an all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Welcome, Member Hart.
Thank you very much.
There's always a way that we can make this work, right? You just have to, this is the committee to be creative on. So I would move to approve the minutes from our last Ad Hoc Fine Arts Committee, the regular meeting held on Tuesday, January 25th, 2022.
Second.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please, Michelle.
Chairwoman,
Aye.
Member Chavez.
Aye.
Member Hart.
Aye.
Member Rutledge is not here. Member Selman.
Aye.
And then Member Garcia.
And you
And,
can.
the chair.
and Chairman Cronin.
Cronin, yes. Aye.
Yay. This is so, I love this.
And
This
now
is
you're
fun.
free.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Chairman.
It was fun.
Appreciate it. That's our pinch hitter. And he hit a grand slam. Thank you. Okay, Chairwoman's remarks. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. We're thrilled to be working on all things art and seeing such terrific forward momentum on our DuPage Community Arts Festival. Thank you to all our community partners for joining us via Zoom and of course in person as well. So I'd like to talk about some of the things that we've done since we last all were together a month ago. I sent out a sponsorship deck and I would like to thank Macklin for their wonderful work. It's beautiful work and so supportive and so kind and generous. So thank you, Macklin. And everyone has received the sponsorship deck and each member has been asked to solicit sponsorships to secure equitable support from around the county. So I'd like to ask each member to provide an update on sponsorships and donations. I will start first and let you know that I met with Greg Bedelov and Amy Schilling from Choose DuPage, and we talked about all of the potential sponsors and donors that we're going to be asking to support this initiative and this Fine Arts Festival. Greg, are you there? Can you please speak to this and care to discuss what we have going for our agenda?
I am here. Thank you very much, Chairwoman LaPlante. As you pointed out, Choose DuPage has long had in its strategic plan the important role that arts and culture plays from an economic development perspective within the community. We have, as I believe the members of this august committee know, secured several sponsorships from existing businesses within DuPage County. We are in conversations with, I would say, order of magnitude, another 10 to 12 businesses throughout DuPage County, coordinating those with Chairwoman LaPlante just to make sure that we're not stepping on each other's toes. Many have some affiliation with Choose DuPage, some have no affiliation with Choose DuPage, from things like in-kind sponsorship to physical donations. The reception has been great, especially now that we have kind of finalized the date and gotten through hopefully the COVID and other issues associated with that. I did have one question, if I may. The deck that I received, and I don't know if I just didn't get the latest, cleanest deck, or if I didn't look at it that closely. I thought I did. Had what looked to be a couple of placeholder slides in the deck. Is there a clean version, like a perfectly clean version of the deck floating around that we could get?
Yeah, so Macklin did send that one first, and then when I said the same thing that you just said, they sent the cleaned up version. So if you could check, there's an email where I put the subject heading.
You can re-forward it to him right now.
Okay, Member Solomon is forwarding it to you right this second, but it does say use this sponsorship deck. So it's all complete and done. And I do know every committee member has received the correct one, and now Member Solomon has just forwarded you the correct one.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome.
I would also, I know Amy Schilling is on this call. Amy is our Director of Investor Relations at Choose DuPage. And Amy has had several conversations as well. And if Amy wants to add anything, I would ask her to inject at this time.
Hi. Hello, Member LaPlante and everyone else. No, I would just say we're continuing to talk to people. Like Greg said, we have a lot of interest. And I think that we are, Member LaPlante, as we discuss planning meetings now for these potential donors and supporters. So
Wonderful. Yes, and so we're going to put together basically a tour, right? We're all going on a tour.
yes.
With all of these potential sponsors. So that's what we're doing. And I would love to hear from the rest of the committee members if they could go forward. Yes. Before I do that, I just want to make sure that everyone knows there are no public comments. So we don't have any public comments today. And also I'd like to extend a welcome to Beth Marchetti and DCVB. Thank you for joining us. Don't worry, it's been 2 minutes. You're good. We're all good. Take a deep breath.
Thank you.
And I want to also make sure, well, you know what, now before we jump in, because there was a few people who weren't able to get on last time, and I want to make sure that you can say hi. I know I saw Jim Newcomb. Do you have your camera on, or are you just talking? Are you just doing it via phone? There you are.
Hello.
Jim, would you please, I would like to welcome you, Jim, as the Executive Director of the Old Town School of Music. And I would just love to introduce you, let you say hi to everyone, and thank you for being a part of this. We are so beyond excited to be partnering up with Old Town and everything that you guys can bring to DuPage County. This is very exciting.
Thanks. We think it's really terrific that you guys are embarked on this. We're sure it's going to be a great thing for DuPage. As you may or may not know, Old Town School is really the hub of a creative arts district in Chicago that supports dozens of local businesses and really helps keep Lincoln Square and Lincoln Park, particularly Lincoln Square, humming. I think that your decision to have a creative art or a fine arts festival is going to be a wonderful thing for DuPage. It'll bring people together, and we're glad to do whatever we can to help you be successful. Jenna from our team is on, who's going to help with some bookings for you guys, and we're going to. There she is, waiting. Just anything we can do to support it. You've got a great team put together here, and it's just looks terrific. So thanks for allowing us to be a part.
Thank you so much, Jim, for those kind words. And thank you, Jenna, for joining. Really, again, I can't say it enough. We're honored to have you here. And I see Terry Jarris. I always just want to give a shout out to everyone, the president of the Chicago Federation of Musicians. And I know Mark Ingram, I saw his face. There he is. Hi, Mark. Thank you. And of course, Jim Newcomb from the County Fairgrounds. And is that?
McGuire.
Oh, sorry, I said Jim McGuire, sorry. You just got a new job, Jim Newcomb.
So busy.
And you already heard from Choose DuPage. Beth Marchetti is here. Is there anyone else, one of our community partners just want to make sure that I see everyone and get to give you guys a shout out, because we really appreciate your time and attention.
people who don't have video on us, Amy Schilling, Deborah Venezia,
Okay, Debbie Venezia from Arts DuPage is with us.
and the rest of the staff.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you everyone for being here. So who would like to talk next about sponsorships? Would you like to do that, Ashley?
Yeah, I
Okay, Member Selman.
So I have sort of a short list of folks that I want to solicit that I'm 99% sure are not on your Choose to Page list.
Okay,
So by the end of the week, I'm going to get you a list of those so you can review it after you meet with Greg to make sure we're not all three of us calling the same person. And then that is how I'm starting my next week is
Okay.
the sponsorship stuff. And then do you want me to talk about food or no?
not yet, not yet. We'll just keep it to sponsorships. And I am going to, Sheila, member Rutledge there's a rain issue in her basement. So she asked me to fill everyone in. She is working with the Western DuPage Chamber of Commerce for sponsorship, as well as Newmark Credit Union, who are good community partners. So she's got those two organizations lined up. Member
Yeah, so
Chavez.
I can just chat briefly. I'm a new member of this committee, but I've reached out a little bit locally in my district. I've made a couple calls, and so I just need to follow up with them this week. I don't have anything official to report yet, but I think we have a couple in progress, so.
Wonderful. A couple in the hopper. That's how
That's right.
that's the
Hopper.
official way to
I'll
say
take it.
Yes,
I'll take the
yes.
hopper.
Member Hart, can you give us?
I have nothing official to report yet, but I will take Member Chavez's lead and reach out to some folks in my district this week and see what we can come together with.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. I think this is just the best way to make sure that everyone gets involved from throughout the county and that we call on, make sure that we reach out to some community partners that would love to be engaged and involved if just given half the chance. So great, we're in a good position for that and sounds like it's all going well. I have not heard from Member Garcia yet about her updates, but once I do, I will share them with the committee. Okay, so next I would like to talk about subcommittees. So this is a very exciting news, is that we are in a place where Jim and I can start delegating. And that means we've done enough of the work so that, we've got a whole layout done. So to that end, we've come up with subcommittees and we've put everyone on a subcommittee. So I'm asking for all the committee members and community partners to sit on at least one of these subcommittees. And the work you do here will be brought back for discussion and updates to our regular full committee meetings that we have. I, along with Jim McGuire, will be sitting on all of these subcommittees and working alongside everyone. So no, we will be guiding these subcommittees and helping every single step of the way. This will simply help us to stay organized and efficient and on task. So the subcommittees are as follows. A, scheduling and production. And that's Mark Ingram and Orbert Davis, Terry Jarris, Shannon Green-Robb, and Old Town School of Music. So we've already been sort of talking about that, sharing schedules, and we're tweaking it, and we're in really good shape. The next subcommittee is artists and vendors. Member Rutledge, Shannon Green-Robb, and Arts DuPage Foundation will be heading that. The next is our VIP event, which is the Friday that kicks off the festival. And that will be Member Chavez and Choose DuPage. Food and beverage, Member Selman, Beth Marchetti, and DCVB. And publicity, marketing, ticket sales, Member Hart, DCVB, DuPage Foundation, and Choose DuPage. Yes, I'm just completely delegating everything. So this is how we get it done. And then we already talked about it, sponsorships and donors, all hands on deck. So this way we have a really clear delineation of labor. And like I said, this will just help us. Many hands make light work. We can knock this out. I'm going to send out all of these subcommittees and our next steps via email. And then so everyone has their next steps outlined and we can continue to move forward. Does anyone have any questions or comments that they'd like to say about these subcommittees? No?
I think it's a good plan. Like, it's a good way to divide it up and make sure we're not missing anything. And I
Yes.
feel a little bad that you and Jim McGuire are on every committee. It's the opposite of delegating, but. Yeah,
I
just
know.
a- But I think it's good to make sure we have consistent eyes
Oh,
on
yeah.
everything, but are still splitting up work. So I think it's a good model.
Yeah, so there's no way I couldn't be on, I would just be bugging anyway, so just let me be on there anyway, right?
Yeah.
And Jim McGuire, would you like to have any updates or anything that you would like to share from your point of view over on the fairgrounds?
Not at this point. We do have a number of the contracts, like for some of these committees that we had already put in place earlier. So it's just a matter of updating them to the current dates and the new timeframes, new one-day events. So just switching some of those around and making sure that people are there, but everything is in the works. Everything's moving that direction. We've contacted and talked to most of the folks.
Yes, wonderful. And we're still bringing in some new people because you know what? The word is spreading. And so people reach out all the time. Hey, do you have space for me? So we're trying to just, plug every little gap in there as best that we can. Any other questions before I move on?
Can you read the last committee again? I just
Sure.
missed that one.
Absolutely. So the one before the sponsorships and donors, is that what you mean?
Yes, please.
Okay, publicity and marketing and also ticket sales. So Greg, member Hart will be on that. And then I think that's right up your alley. And as well as DuPage Foundation and Choose DuPage, because we're going to be using everyone's databases, right, to get the word out and using all your partnerships and your resources as well to amplify and really promote the event.
So, hi, everybody. Real quickly, we had a lot of experience with selling tickets and wristbands for cyclocross.
Yeah.
And we are trying to guide a couple, like the FMC Auditorium, who is very well versed in everything in the pool, but has never really sold spectator tickets before.
Okay.
So I would love, that's one area that I think we really need to think about sooner rather than later, because we did have a lot of technology, no issues, the little swipe things and different things like that. So there's a lot to think about with that. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Well, then you are absolutely the
In the right
person for
place.
that. Yes, I knew it. Okay, well, I'm happy, tomorrow we can get together and talk. But that sounds perfect. And you're obviously
Yeah.
with a lot of successful events under your belt. So that'll be terrific. Okay, the only other thing I'd like to mention, a constituent just sent me an article today. Shout out to Phil Buchanan. He sent me this Washington Post article that was I think it was the 19th, so earlier this week. And it's talking about how unbelievably difficult this pandemic has been on the performing arts and that it's still happening, that artists are still struggling. Terry, you can speak to this. I'm sure Mark can, Jim Newcomb can all speak to this. We're not out of this pandemic. Things are still getting canceled. Things are still very stressful. I can speak from personal experience, going out to perform with the Charleston Symphony in South Carolina. This concert was planned for, I think 2 years. They brought in some, performers from all over the country. And we made it through all the rehearsals, and they worked very, very closely with epidemiologists from the local hospital. They took such care, and still we had some late positive cases that the concerts had to be canceled. So we made it through all the rehearsals, and then the day of, they canceled both shows, and I just had to turn around and go home, fly home. So that's happening all the time to performing arts groups still, and for exhibits and everything. Terry, would you like to speak to that with what you're experiencing with the Chicago Federation of Musicians?
Sure. It's actually gotten a little bit better now that we've gotten into February. December was our worst month, and we had numerous theater performances canceled. The orchestra seemed to handle it a little bit better, and I'm not exactly sure why, but we didn't have any cancellations with the Chicago Symphony. I guess that they had been in the hall for so long that they just had better protocols in place, possibly. They tested more often, but and they also have a good rotation system with the symphony. the opera was actually on a little hiatus, and they were doing the Nutcracker. We did have problems with the Nutcracker, and the last 6 or 7 performances got canceled. But once again, once January got here, they did cancel a show with lyric opera that was supposed to be at the Harris Theater called Proving Up. And they will reschedule that soon, later on in the season. But the theaters, we did have quite a few cancellations. Paramount Theater and the Marriott Theater got hit the worst. But, you know, we're back on our feet. They have new shows happening. And I think that the protocols that we have in place worked for the orchestra. And they've put different safety measures in place for the actors. And I think that that will, you know, I think that's what caused the turn. I'm a little worried about this new Omicron plus variant that they're talking about that's now hit the United States, especially now that the mask mandate will be off. But, you know, we just have to take it one step at a time and see how it goes. But I'm hopeful that the summer, by the end of May, we will not even be talking about this anymore, and we'll just be looking for a positive summer.
Oh, I love that. Yes, from your lips to God's ears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think this just highlights the need, and I will send this link out to everyone about this Washington Post article. It's just a great interview of someone who's just telling it like it is from a performer's and artist's point of view, and how unbelievably difficult this has been. And so even just moving this forward, highlighting the arts and giving people a literal stage to perform on is helpful. So this is important work that we're doing that I think is very helpful to the arts community, but also in raising awareness and drawing attention to everything we have to offer in DuPage County and driving, of course, economic development. Okay, well, I just wanted to mention that. I'll send that out. And if there's no other questions, does anyone have any old business that they would like to discuss?
Chair LaPlante, sorry, I do have a question. It's Greg.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The deck goes over some of the performers, and I know you and I have talked about this, but I know with the kind of multiple stage approach and the multiple arts attack angles that we're coming at this from, I know that there is other interests and other performers and other people that are involved in this. Even if it's just a Word document, is there any way that I and others who are involved in trying to raise funds and generate interest in the business community can get that list so that we can kind of make sure that people know, as I've said from the onset, that Choose DuPage's primary interest in this is the holistic component and the holistic importance that arts plays to economic development as opposed to simply a one-day music fest?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I can write that up, no problem. And then we can either have Macklin create a separate card, you know, like a slide for that, which would be great, or however you'd like it, if you wanted something that you can print out so it's something longer for people to read. I'm happy to do that.
Just something that, you know, touches on, we're actually going to have 3 stages and 17 little booths and an area where folks can have a cultural immersive experience and paints a maybe just a little bit bigger picture.
Well, Mr. Bedeloff, I think you just said it. So I'll see if Michelle got all of exactly press release done. I'll just read back the minutes from this meeting and we're good to go. But yes, absolutely. That's a great idea because this will make sure that the same consistent messaging is getting out from every single person who's out soliciting sponsorships and donors. So great idea. And that'll be easy. So I can get that done and have that by tomorrow. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, new business. Do we have any new business? Yes, Member Chavez.
I would just like to speak to the fact that I just got home from NACO last week. We were in Washington, D.C. And of course, they only have a limited number of sub-conferences that you can take in breakout sessions. But one of the primary ones that I went to was the impact of the arts on economic development for your county. And I think the fact that that bubbled to the top at the national conference speaks to how incredibly important the arts are to our community and any community. But I thought one of the examples that they gave was that it's almost like a before and after picture when you redo your house, like, you know, that before it's painted and then when you add shutters, the whole curb appeal almost is really what the arts brings to a community. And I thought that that was just such a great analogy for us all to think of, is that we're creating curb appeal for DuPage County as we promote the arts, as we make sure we have a vibrant arts community. And we're not alone in supporting the arts in these similar ways. I mean, there are several festivals around the country that are doing something similar to what we're doing. So I think it really validated for me how important this project is and what a great starting off and leaping off point this is, that it's so important for us to invest in this important project. So I just thought being at the national conference really validated that for me, and I wanted to share that. So
thank you so much. That is so, I was so jealous when she told me that that's what was on the agenda. I was like, oh, go and take notes and tell me everything. Because that's a fantastic point. It is the national conversation, not just within arts communities of how we revitalize, but in terms of urban development and economic planning and COVID recovery. This is a major component of all of those things at the national level, federal level, state and local. So we want to be leaders.
Community, like,
that's right.
The community having a voice through art is really how you get your community involved into government, into public partnerships. So it really is a great foundation. So it was wonderful. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you for that report. Yes, Beth.
So I brought, I have three things. So the first thing is Governor Pritzker announced a $4 million grant for projects along historic Route 66. So 2026 is a very big year for DuPage County. That is the year of the President's Cup at Medina Country Club, where we know we will have the international spotlight on DuPage County. And the state of Illinois promotes Route 66 internationally. So I feel like there's a tie-in here. This $4 million grant is through certified convention bureaus only, and it is a one-time non-matching grant.
Whoa, nice.
I've never heard of a non-matching grant from the city. So I have been working with some of our mayors and managers on the south part of DuPage County, but I would really like for us to think about, it's really about product development. We don't really have a lot of things to get off the interstate and see. So are there murals, artists that we can commission to get some things going? Burr Ridge has the Harvester Cart that, you know, was the Harvester Company, and are completely rehauling that and opening July of this year. That's going to have a complete Route 66 theme.
Wow.
We're working with the Illinois Department of Transportation to have uniform signage across the entire state, so that we're not, you know, working within our own department, and that sign number 1 is this look and sign number 2 is this look, that it's across the entire interstate.
Okay.
So I just am throwing this out to this committee that I think this is a really great possibility and opportunity for us.
Okay.
I'm trying to I literally just got wind of it last week, and there is a committee that another committee that I'm serving on for the byways. And I know Chairman Cronin received this as a official support of the bylaw, national bylaw or byways commission for the Route 66. So again, I think there's some cross-pollination between the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup and this, so we can really get people to visit our areas. So that's one. Two is, I know you've already been talking to the MAC. I think that needs to be first and foremost, starting to talk about more arts in DuPage. And then again, just a reminder that we do have the artists coming in from Mexico City already this week. They're staying in our hotels for Alebrejas. And that's going to be about 6 times 180 hotel rooms. And that's just for the artists to stay here while they're making the art. And then that opens a little bit after June and goes through October at Cantini Park. So again, just some really great things to kind of bundle. I think, you know, that we make it known that we're an art welcoming community.
Absolutely. Yep. And I keep saying to all the different arts organizations that I'm talking to, a rising tide lifts all boats. So I think it's really important that we don't see competition between different arts organizations or exhibits or events, but wonderful. Let me support that endeavor, and then you support our endeavor. because I think that's the best way to move forward.
And even the heat maps that I showed
Oh,
today
yeah.
at the county board
Mhm.
meeting, we can actually see like if people went to this event, then they went to this event. I mean, we can show all of those different kind of components of data. So I think that's what you'll see. Kind of like serving up Amazon. If you like this product,
Oh,
you
yeah.
probably like this
Yeah,
one.
right. Oh, I love that. Okay. That's terrific. And I know Jim McGuire, I think you told me that was that you that I talked to about possibly sharing some of the art from Cantini? Was that you?
Yeah, they are gonna be bringing a lot of that artwork here, and they will be assembling it, painting it, and prepping it to bring it over to Cantini. But we're gonna give them some space on the fairgrounds here to do that through. So I did reach out to them, ask them if they could possibly showcase some of that at our event, and also use that to let people be aware of what's gonna be happening over at Cantini. So a combined effort to bring some of it to this event and to showcase what's going to be coming up over at Cantini to get people aware of it. So that looks like that's going to come together.
Wonderful, because that's what we were hoping is that we can help them by here's a preview. And then people like you just said, I got too excited here, that people will see that and say, I'm going to something next. Thank you. And and one leads to the other, like what you're saying.
I want to thank Jim because we had to find space and it was, so many square feet with a bathroom that has climate control. And so obviously we wanted it close to Cantini. So thank you, Jim, for stepping up with that.
Yep, you're very welcome. We're very good friends of Cantini. They help us quite a bit over here as well. So we're always happy to help them out.
And that's how Jim is about the fairgrounds. This is what you're always looking to do, is help people out and collaborate. And I love that. So that spirit of collaboration is really, I feel, starting to shine through. And then we'll bring other people involved and get them into that same sort of spirit as well. So thank you for that, Jim. Was that it, Beth? Did you have one more? Was that it? Okay. Greg, Member Hart.
Thank you, Chair LaPlante. One thing that I wanted to raise to the group's attention, I think at our first meeting when we were going around the horn and expressing what our interests were in terms of the fine arts, one of the things that I mentioned was public art and murals. And I mentioned the one in Glen Ellen that had to do with Frida Kahlo, which is still something that I admire whenever I see it. But I bring this up because through my work on the Hope Task Force, I've actually come across an organization called My Child's Life Matters. It's a group of individuals who have actually lost sons or daughters to the opioid epidemic. But I was approached by them recently with an interest from their organization, which is a 501c3, to make a mural memorializing people who have been lost to opioid addiction in DuPage County. So the reason I bring it up is they're looking actively for a location to paint that mural. So if anyone has any ideas or leads on where that might go, please reach out to me and I'd love to work with you on it.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And I absolutely remember when you said that, because I also love public art as well. I did have a meeting with Glen Ellen Mayor and Diana Martinez from the MAC about that and about some possible spots for murals, because there's some that I see when I drive past them, doing million carpools, and they are crying out for a mural. And I told them, either I do it in the middle of the night and it won't be good, but I will do it, or we work together and we get art up on these spots. So I couldn't agree with you more. And what I would really love to do long range is make sure that we have each district all 6 districts have some wonderful public art in them. So I think that, that can be definitely like a next step. But I think that's something that this committee would be particularly well suited for, and as a way to get that public art out equitably throughout the county. So, and especially tying in all these, I love all these things that we could tie in together with Route 66 and everything. But for sure, I never have forgotten that that's what you said, and definitely I want to do that too. So great, we've got a lot of new business. This is all very exciting. I think we're really getting creative here at DuPage County, and I could not be happier. So, well, if there's any more new business, then I move to adjourn today's meeting. Second, wonderful. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, okay. Then thank you, everyone. Today's meeting is adjourned until next month, March 22nd. Please watch your inboxes. I'm going to be sending out some of the things we discussed today, as well as all of our next steps. But thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support and your help, and we're so happy that you're on board. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.